Como les comenté, tenemos, ¿están viendo pantalla? Creo que sí. Como les comenté, tenemos ya la siguiente presentación, son las 10:15 y seguimos con Boréal Bikes. Es una solución muy interesante también de vehículos conectados, que es otro tema, pero realmente es un tema que van a ver que va a ser de gran interés para el país y para muchos entes, porque este tema, digamos, ha tenido relevancia en el momento. Eh, voy a compartir pantalla, Luis, para hacer una presentación rápida tuya y ya te permito compartir pantalla, ¿te parece?
Yes, hello.
Ok.
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me?
Sí, te podemos escuchar. Dame un momento y ya compartimos pantalla para hacer una presentación rápida de ti y de la empresa y ya te permito compartir, ¿vale? Bueno, tenemos aquí a Luis, él es cofundador de Boréal Bikes. Él se ha centrado en la seguridad vial de todos los ciclistas y usuarios vulnerables en la vía mediante la seguridad activa y el desarrollo de aplicaciones móviles de baja latencia habilitadas por inteligencia artificial para la micromovilidad. Ha sido socio de investigaciones en las principales autoridades de transporte, incluido Estados Unidos, y su empresa ha ayudado a investigar el potencial del V2X, que es Vehicle to cualquier cosa, para los ciclistas. Eh, el objetivo de la empresa es crear un viaje más seguro para un mundo conectado. Y bueno, desde 2015 llevan desarrollando tecnologías para bicicletas que permiten integrarlas a sistemas de transporte inteligentes. La empresa empezó diseñando los primeros bicicletas conectadas para ser utilizadas en V2X y bueno, como les comenté, ha sido probado y financiado por diferentes entes como el Departamento de Transporte de Estados Unidos, el DOT. Hoy vamos a ver una presentación que nos contará cómo la movilidad urbana está a punto de cambiar y cómo esas tecnologías pueden ayudar a los ciclistas en términos de seguridad. Entonces, bueno, sin más, voy a darte la palabra, Luis, y podemos empezar con tu presentación, ¿vale? Ya puedes compartir pantalla. Muchas gracias. ¿Nos escuchas bien en inglés? ¿Me escuchas la traducción, Luis?
Yes. Okay.
Perfecto. Muy bien,
Yeah.
muchas gracias. Excelente.
Well, thank you, Alan. Thank you for the invitation. We are very happy to be part of Autotech Week 2021. My name is who you are, and I'm the CEO of Boréal Bikes. Let me remind you that Boréal Bikes is a bike tech company. So for a bike company to be at the car event, I really think that is some kind of accomplishment. Don't you think? I mean, what took you so long? Okay, I must admit, it seems to be a growing trend. At Germany's premier auto show, um, now renamed II Mobility Show, BMW presented its new bike, the Ambi, a revolutionary bike with sensors and adaptive speed control. The bike concept embodied the company's new direction towards smart and sustainable mobility. Previously, Volkswagen presented its new connected and smart cargo bike. Now, earlier this year at CES, Sony showed its vision of future home electronics, which was a Sony autonomous car, while BMW then demonstrated its vision of future mobility, which was a home cinema on 4 wheels, a car that drives itself so you can continue to watch Netflix, HBO Max, and Disney Plus. So there you have it. The smart home entertainment becomes the smart entertainment car. So smart cars are also now smart TVs. Meanwhile, bike companies like Canyon are introducing their vision of future mobility, new four-wheeled bikes, which strangely enough looks very much like a car, but just don't call it a car. Wow, I guess the world turned itself upside down and I was too busy on Zoom calls to notice it happening. Kidding aside, the truth is that the whole mobility sector is in complete transformation. In addition to these technological changes, we are seeing these new vehicles supported by new business models that are more agile and better adapted to answer to consumer needs,
Luis,
ever-changing needs. There is lots of
te
convergence
interrumpo un
going on.
momento. No estamos viendo
Yes?
tu pantalla. Creo que sí, en este momento no estamos viendo la pantalla. Si tienes en este momento la diapositiva, puedes poner compartir y ponerla, ¿vale?
Hello? Can I
Yes.
continue? Hi, hello?
Hi, Luis. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can I continue or?
Yeah, I'm just telling you, I know you have a presentation prepared, so if you want, you can share now the screen because
Oh,
we're
you
not
didn't
seeing
see
your
the
screen.
screen.
No,
Okay.
exactly, exactly.
Okay,
So
sorry
yes,
about
please
that.
share and yeah,
Okay,
no
this is
big
always
deal.
happens.
Yeah. It's not the first
Okay.
time during the auto week we have this stuff though. No
Oh,
problem.
yeah, okay. Sorry about that.
Yep. Now, and if you want, you can also share your video just to
Okay, so
see.
um,
Yep. Thank you.
so one moment. So what works right now?
Now we can see your screen. You can also activate your camera. There is a down below, left down below the video switch, so you can turn on the camera if you want, and then you can continue.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you can see it
Perfect.
now.
Yeah. Yes. Screen and your video, excellent, and audio, excellent. Everything works perfectly. Thank you.
Okay.
You can continue. Yep.
Yeah, so as I was saying, Boreal Bikes is a bike tech company. So for a bike company to be invited at a car event, I really think that's some kind of accomplishment. Don't you think? I mean, what took you so long to invite us? Okay, I must admit, it seems to be a growing trend. At Germany's premier auto show, now renamed the II Mobility Show, BMW presented its new bike, the Ambi, a revolutionary bike with sensors and adaptive speed control. The bike concept embodies the company's new direction towards smart and sustainable mobility. Previously, Volkswagen presented its new connected and smart cargo bike. Earlier this year at CES, Sony showed its vision of future home electronics, which is actually a car, a Sony autonomous car, while BMW demonstrated its vision of future mobility, which is a home cinema on four wheels, a car that drives itself so you can continue to watch Netflix, HBO Max, and Disney Plus. So there you have it. Smart home entertainment becomes smart entertainment cars, and smart cars are now smart TVs. Meanwhile, bike companies like Canyon are introducing their vision of future mobilities, new four-wheeled bikes, which strangely enough looks very much like a car, but just don't call it a car. Wow, I guess the world turned itself upside down and I was too busy on Zoom calls to notice this happening. Kidding aside, the truth is that the whole mobility sector is in complete transformation. In addition to these technological changes, we are seeing new business models that are more agile, more flexible, and better adapted to answer consumers' ever-changing needs. There's a whole lot of conversions going on. Home entertainment becomes smart mobility, and active mobility becomes the new transport solution for the masses. The revolution has started, and there's no slowing down. The evidence is in sales. Um, in the growth of sales, and I'm talking about e-bike sales. Yes, in several major markets, e-bike is the fastest growing new vehicle category. In Europe, e-bikes have seen a double-digit growth for the past 3 years, more than a substantial increase of 23% compared to the year before. Total bike sales, um, total bike sales should be stood stable at around 20 million units in 2019. During the pandemic, e-bike sales went through the roof. It was pedal to the metal. In fact, European bike industry is predicting that e-bikes and bike sales will reach 30 million per year total, bringing them to more than twice the number of passenger cars currently registered per year in the EU. So you'll see lots of bikes and e-bikes on the road and much, much more micromobility. I have a feeling that there will be new types of vehicles that are lighter, more efficient, sustainable, and better adapted to people's mobility needs and better adapted to our digitally enabled lifestyles. While this whole new transformation is going towards a sustainable urban mobility, we are seeing a troubling trend moving forward at great pace, and that is road fatalities involving cyclists and users of micromobility and cars. Road fatalities involving bikes and e-bikes are up in most markets, even in markets that heavily invested in e-bike infrastructure, like the Netherlands and Berlin. We are seeing a sharp rise, and in markets that have taken the massive adoption of bikes as their main mode of transportation, it's even worse. Meanwhile, cars have become safer, and statistics prove it. The automotive industry has heavily invested in road safety, level 2 and level 3 ADAS systems, and these systems are now mature. V2X is about to be deployed in several markets. For more than 15 years, the car industry has been investing in connectivity, assistive and autonomous technologies that make Vision Zero road safety a reality. While the new kid on the block, bikes, not that much. However, at Boréal Bikes, we believe that we are on the verge of eliminating urban cyclist fatalities through active safety. This could potentially be done in the next 5 years, as the technology and the needed connectivity is here. In fact, ADAS, or advanced driver assistance systems that provide active safety for trucks and newer car models, have become ubiquitous. These onboard devices provide assistive features to users, and as a result, numerous accidents involving cars and trucks have been averted. Consequently, the number of car fatalities have been falling. The reality for bikes and e-bikes, however, is quite the opposite. Currently, active safety is non-existent for bikes, although the consideration for cyclist safety should be equal to that of car and truck drivers. Until recently, the efforts in developing such technology for micromobility have been few. That is why our focus has been on the development of an ADS for micromobility, working with researchers and scientists to make such a system a reality for cyclists. And that is the main reason we built the Holocene Edge, a bike that features the latest technology in terms of connectivity. But before getting into the development of ADS for bikes, we were always passionate about bikes. We built and designed bikes, and one of these bikes, which I will show you right now, was a minimalist bike that had several innovative features. For example, it had integrated batteries into the frame. It also featured a carbon belt drive, and it was built locally also here. So here you see the development at our workshops in Berlin of the bike. Bike tech is quite simple. I mean, it is not extremely complicated, but so it is easy to add these features, these connected features to a bike. And this is what we were doing at this time. So we also had the hydraulic brakes, a Gates carbon belt drive, integrated battery, and a unique UI that's in it. And at that time, we were thinking of having V2X, but it was not something that was really that had been done yet. So these bikes can be extremely light. So it's really well integrated to your urban lifestyle. And of course, it adapts to the different landscape and the different riding conditions of your city. And these bikes are also a good way to stay healthy. And by having it connected, it keeps your assets safer. So you're able to track your asset, which is your bike, and know when it's available. And here you have how the UI works. So you're not distractions. So visual distraction is something that you have to deal with. Now, the bike is location aware, situation aware, so you can bring it. And then of course you can customize the different features on it. So that was our proposition for our bike in the future. So one of the features we had is the smart grips. And the smart grips offer directions, so you can turn with direction. A left turn is indicated by vibrating by vibrating the left grip, and the right turn is indicated by the right grip vibrating. So, and the bike is light and rugged, designed for Canada but built in Germany. At the time, the bike was quite advanced. It also featured a frame, integrated battery, hydraulic brakes, and Gates carbon belt, which was quite innovative at the time. In fact, the original Holocene was referenced in several magazines and featured in several designs publications. We had validated interest and demand for such a connected and smart bike, but soon realized that the technology wasn't exactly there yet to create the first bike with an advanced assistive system. This is why we partnered with researchers working on a project initiated by the U.S. Department of Transportation that seek to integrate bikes to vehicular networks. This project was called Main Street. For Main Street, the following scenarios were evaluated. In the first scenario, we evaluate bike safety. The problem is evident as the limitation to the cyclist line of sight puts him at risk. So no vehicles are communicating, and you hear here for example, a first responder is coming to the intersection, and the vulnerable road users, the cyclist is here, gets hit in a biking accident. In the second scenario, what we're seeing is that automotive vehicles are connected. These are the only vehicles that are connected, and the vulnerable road user, the cyclist, is left out. Like the previous scenario, vehicles out of his line of sight put him at risk. In scenario 3, all vehicles are networked. The cyclist gets notified when the vehicle is about to cross an intersection. The first responder is also aware of the presence of the bike, since the bike is now communicating its position and vehicle dynamics to surrounding vehicles. Since then, we had several institutional partnerships, further developing the integration of bikes to vehicle networks and to the intelligent transport systems, ITS. Lately, we have seen a surge of interest in the development of such a solution at the OEM level. Presently, our main activity now is to support OEMs, transport authorities, academic institutions to develop and later implement an effective ADAS for micromobility. We will offer research e-bikes that is much more than a Tesla and 2 wheels. We'll talk about this later. And an SDK that could be part of a future platform that integrates bikes, e-bikes, and other micromobility vehicles to an intelligent transportation system. So why are we doing this? I believe that the time has come for cyclists to have the best in safety. ADS in cars is about to become ubiquitous in many markets. The benefits have been experienced by many consumers, and now consumers are looking for these features on other types of vehicles. As Europe's median age increases, accessibility to mobility will become an important issue. Accessibility will be one of the driving factors that will allow connective and autonomous technologies to be translated to active modalities. As it is right now, consumers who are looking for a vehicle with autonomous or assistive features must choose from a selection of mostly large automotive vehicles. A car-centric approach to connected mobility is neither suitable for cities nor is it sustainable. The introduction of autonomous technologies to better adapted modalities will help usher in a new era of urban mobility that will be rich in assistive and connected features and while being safer and more personalized. It will have a considerable smaller environmental footprint. So creating the Holocene Edge. So this is our research bike. The Holocene Edge is the closest thing to a Tesla on 2 wheels, actually. In fact, we like to say that it's more than a Tesla on 2 wheels, but let me tell you why later. The bike features direct drive motor that can be actuated for emergency braking or interactive speed control. It has speakers at the front and at the back that have a dual function. The speakers may be part of the UI by emitting positional auditive notifications from the front or the back, improving the rider's situational awareness. And it can also act as an acoustic vehicle alerting system to notify other vulnerable road users of an approaching vehicle. It has cameras that cover the full 360 degrees surrounding the vehicle. The LiDARs on the bike also provide a 360-degree point cloud. The bike has a powerful GPU and is able to perform several edge computing tasks like image recognition, image segmentation, object recognition, SLAM applications needed to be situationally aware and able to perform assistive maneuvers like warning the user of an incoming road hazards or triggering braking, emergency braking. There are 6 IMUs to capture the vehicle dynamics. The bike has switches and there is an encoder to capture the steering angle. The bike also has a camera for driver monitoring applications. It may detect the direction of the gaze of the rider and know if the rider is aware or unaware of the potentially risky situation by detecting his line of sight and by knowing if the rider is attentive or visually distractive. The bike also has smart grips, so it has the ability to produce haptic warnings. The reason we say that this is more than a Tesla on 2 wheels is because it has LiDARs, while the Tesla notoriously does not have them. Hey, we got LiDARs. It's used for some of our studies and provides the baseline data we need and that we're looking for. Just the bike has all the bells and whistles. They're not exactly seamlessly integrated, but the purpose is to further develop vehicle integration to vehicle networks, assistive features, smart features for micromobility, and by using the technology that has been previously developed in these fields by the automotive industry. Originally, bikes were to be considered as passive participants of an ITS, an intelligent transportation systems. As a VRU, a vulnerable user, their burden was on automotive class vehicles and the infrastructure to detect the presence of a bike. For several reasons, transport authorities, cities, and researchers are looking at how bikes can also further benefit from the assistive and connected technologies found on cars. We are actually working on several projects with this goal in mind, and one of these is the Austrian initiative named Bike to CAV. So here, this is the anatomy of a modern car. So this is the car with the sensor arrays and the ADAS system, that feed an ADAS system, its connectivity. And what we're proposing here is to bring the same type of technology that we find in modern cars onto the bike. So you have traffic sign detection, collision detection applications. And on the front cameras also can perform collision detection, blind spot detection, interactive speed control that helps to speed or even trigger regenerative braking. So if there is a hazard on the way, the bike stops. It also can be you can also benefit in a smart city, benefit from the traffic control system and have like a green wave, so you never stop at the green light. And also the bike can perform pedestrian detection and warn the cyclists of incoming road hazards. So here is the bike. So telemetry is communicated. Here you see how it performs edge computing tasks like in object detection. So the bike is situationally aware, and when needed, it can trigger a haptic notification to the user. So the Bike to CAV stands for communication from bike to connected autonomous vehicle. For the Bike to CAV with our project partners, we are developing a collision avoidance application based on cooperative messages sent over ITS G5. ITS G5 being a standard for vehicle networks in Europe, also known as DRC in the United States. These messages originate from vehicles, infrastructure, and roadside units. The messages are generated by the onboard units found on cars and the roadside units that are part of the road infrastructure. These messages are to be interpreted by the different vehicles and trigger from the vehicle's onboard ATS system the proper response to avoid a collision. We're also currently developing a platform which ITS-based applications or micromobility are to be developed, validated, and field tested. Previously, collision avoidance application. So, principally, our bike is used to gather real-world data needed to ground check these applications and further the development of a collision avoidance applications on CV2X. CV2X lays the ground of cooperative detection, the groundwork for cooperative detection and mitigation of collision risk, not only focusing on the reliable detection of VRUs as a passive traffic participants, but enabling them to play an active role. When it comes to bike accidents, it is estimated that a CV2X enabled technology on bikes, like an ADS for bikes, could represent a reduction of 18% in bike accidents. The Austrian government estimates the cost of the bike-related injuries and accidents to 1 billion euros for the period of 2015 to 2030. At Boréal Bikes, we are still aiming for Vision Zero, as in eliminating all bike-related road accidents for good. We also believe connected mobility will drastically improve our cities by making them safer and more enjoyable to live in, by providing modes of transport that are sustainable and more environmentally friendly. As you know, there is still lots of work to be done to reach this goal, and that's why we are looking forward to hear from you. Thank you for your time.
Bueno, Luis, muchas gracias por la presentación, muy interesante. Como ya te había comentado, ese es un tema que, bueno, en Colombia es muy relevante porque primero muchas de las personas más vulnerables van día a día en su bicicleta al trabajo y de vuelta y hacer sus labores diarias. Y bueno, avances con respecto a estos temas tecnológicos para evitar accidentes y muertos, pues son temas que son muy relevantes para el país también. Nos gustaría saber si tenemos preguntas del público. Por aquí creo que tenemos una mano levantada. Ya les digo el nombre. Juan Camilo Sosa García. Juan Camilo, ¿tú querías hacer alguna pregunta? Confírmanos y te abrimos el... Y Fernando Agudelo también tiene otra pregunta. Bueno, mientras se conectan y mientras mis compañeros los habilitan para hablar, vamos a hacer una pregunta que está en el chat. Si estas bicicletas ya están disponibles, bueno, en Colombia o disponibles en general para traer a Colombia, y qué costo tendrían, ¿no? ¿Qué costo tendría este tipo de bicicletas? O estas bicicletas de ustedes. Okay. Luis, I think you didn't hear me, so I will ask you in English directly. So first question it is that if your bicycles are actually available, and if they are available actually for Colombia, or we can have these bicycles here, and how much will cost these bicycles?
Yeah, it's very good question. I mean, our bikes are now available. We are presently working with OEMs and transport authorities and research institute because so they can investigate on the possibilities of CV2X. We're still at the early age of CV2X. It's being deployed on cars. So our bikes are essentially, you have the same sensor array that you have on a car. So we have the same types of sensors. So you can have the same type of baseline data. So if you're an automotive engineer that has this experience, working on bigger type of vehicles, you will have the same type of data and sensors. You'll be accustomed to seeing the type of the information you're getting from the sensors that are on board our bikes. So the bike has the array of sensor arrays. Like we have automotive grade cameras. So you're able to learn work with other work, for example, in terms of image detection or computer vision that has been done on cars. You can bring them to the bike, but essentially, we're seeing like a whole process, like where these electronic components are going down in price. V2X radio units are going to be down in price, and as I mentioned earlier, for the general public, we're seeing like BOM prices. It's starting to come in where you're seeing V2X radio units at $15, which is the same price as a helmet, but so much safer than a helmet. We see the potential. So, of course, this is done. It's a tool. So the tool is there to further develop applications, to verify and validate your V2X applications, and infrastructure. And also not only on bikes, but infrastructure will come down in price. So for example, the V2X infrastructure, a V2X roadside unit is basically a Wi-Fi router. And this Wi-Fi router communicates at a junction or at a street corner to the different vehicles and helps coordinate these vehicles, exchanges the messages, so everything is safe. So these bikes are really intended for research institutions. Yes, they're available now. It's about a 3 to 6 month wait. So we do it really on a custom basis. So depending on the sensors, and the prices vary from, because we do this on a unit basis, and I mean, they're all kind of inexpensive parts that we're using. So it depends. It starts at 10,000 and it can go up to very much more. So this is 10 to 15,000. So that's the beginning price per unit.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's interesting. We of course we all expect to have lower prices of these devices in the future because of the new connectivity solutions we are seeing in all the automotive industry, and of course, yeah, that's something that's really interesting to see how progress in the future. So we have here another question. Let me ask you, what type of business model do you have to offer this to the public, because the trends of government institutions, they assume that the cost of the bicycles and the infrastructure to park are okay, so I got it. So the idea here is that what's the business model from you, because here government and everyone assumes that all the costs are on the side of the user. So yeah, so that's the question. So what the business model? So you're selling directly to final customers, or are you also thinking about using for I mean delivery companies maybe, or also government institutions for for their employees? What's the business model you have?
So
Which
I
are the
mean,
clients?
one is to be a tier one supplier. Work closely with OMs. So basically a bit like a Vallejo or a Bosch. So work with these companies as a system, and then second is a system integrator. So we work with OEMs as as a system integrator. So and after that, I mean honestly, I think the sky is the limit. I mean, we saw how the Internet of Things is working. We saw how the Internet by itself has changed, bringing new models and streaming. And I mean, we could eventually see ADAS as a service. So
Of course.
this is road safety as a service. Now, it is to be seen. I mean, this can be done in partnerships with local governments, local transport authorities, and cities. So there's, I mean, the value add proposition is quite big. I mean, there's many things that, like for example, the Austrian government is heavily investing in this. It's because it sees really, since they also take care of their citizens in terms of healthcare. When there's a bike accident, it actually costs the government money. So they're saying savings in that sense. And in terms of logistics, you have savings. I mean, it also introduces other type of vehicles into your logistics, last mile logistics. So for logistics companies, it's a way to have a better assurance that the goods are delivered, and also it improves the safety of its employees. I mean, these type of technologies will be found on vans and I guess if they're now going to switching to delivery bikes or bigger delivery bikes, their employees should be as safe or benefit from the same type of technologies that you see on automotive vehicles. So this is also a possibility. How these, I mean, the model probably will change for the automotive industries where you sell an ECU. You know, the bike, the automotive industry has always been like, here's a box and there's no over the air. It performs these, emergency braking or lane detection, but it doesn't change after the day you buy it and you got it. So that's it. But Tesla has changed all this in the automotive industry. I mean, it's OTA. There's always a new technology. So now you're seeing that they're providing something close to level 3 safety, and they're providing it as a service. So they're asking you for $100 a month to get this additional software on your bike, on your car. And that's the way we see it. We see that, and that's what we're working on is to develop a platform, a common platform that will be on bikes, and that you will be able to add features that make your ride safer. It could be also more enjoyable. It could be more collaborative. Working or be, I don't know. You could be biking with other people and have gamify the commute. So there's many options that will happen. But first, we got to see the Internet of Vehicles, and that's V2X and CV2X.
Yep.
And of course, the basic feature of the Internet is that we're safe on the Internet, that there's basic cybersecurity and security on the Internet. It's the same. It's going to be the same thing for the Internet of Vehicles or CV2X. First, it's for a safety function, but then you'll have services, and you'll have a platform where that will benefit from that connectivity. So this is so right now we sell our expertise in consultancy. We work as a consultancy, but we're also working on a platform that could be still open source, but on a service kind of Linux platform, a bit like Red Hat.
Yeah.
But you're already seeing this Linux for cars. There's already a version of a flavor of Linux. So because you want to ensure interoperability, you want to be sure that the government's transparency, so the governments can see and transport authorities see how the road systems or the road networks are used, and that the users on them are safe, and that these infrastructures are well maintained.
Okay. Thank you, Luis. We have one last question because I think we have enough time for one last question. The question is, what type of security uses the bicycles to avoid being stolen? So how is stolen safe for free? How you guarantee, or what's the security they use so it cannot be stolen, the bike?
So there's many ways to. I mean, basically, once you have a vehicle connected, it's tracked. I mean, then that's been proven by. I mean, you can disable the motor, you can disable the stop the car from functioning, but we see it with Tesla, and statistics are there to prove it. Tesla is the least stolen car. And the reason why, I mean, you have the same type of safety features like FOB, or using your NFC card, and to unlock your bike. But a connected bike, actually, the deterrent is its connectivity, that you can track it now, and you can disable it. You can disable. I mean, if we're familiar how a CAN system works on the car, you can disable the CAN system. Of course, you can.
Okay.
I mean, we have cars that are not supposed to work once stolen because the electronics disable it. But in some markets or in some regions, this has been hacked, and we see it in Europe. I mean, but these systems can be quite resilient and quite a good deterrent for deterrent to having these bikes stolen or these vehicles stolen.
Okay, well, that's a good answer. Yeah, of course, connectivity will help a lot on that. Okay, so I will switch to Spanish. Anyhow, thank you so much, Luis, for being here. We are really proud and happy to have you here and to hear from you this solution. Of course, it is Autotech Week, but it is more Mobility Week. And of course, in the road, there's not only cars or trucks, but also bicycles. So it's really good to hear also these solutions that are focused on the less the more vulnerable parts of the whole traffic. So that's great to hear, and we are happy that you're working on that. And anything you would like to do in Colombia or Latin America, because we have a specific and we have a unique traffic and situations in the streets that maybe will be interesting for you. We're happy to help you from UNIDO and the UN to come here and talk with some authorities to see if
Yeah, it
it's
sounds great.
also possible to also how it will work here, because of course streets in Colombia or Latin America are different than Germans or UK or American streets. So
Well,
yeah,
yeah. I
always
mean,
welcome.
we have to find a mobility solution for everywhere, for everyone.
Okay, so I was just closing, but we have Beatriz Acevedo. She would like to make a question here. So let's have this as a last question, and then let's close the session today. Yeah, Beatriz, I will allow you to talk. You can either choose Spanish or English to talk. You have to unlock your microphone. Open your microphone. Okay, seems to be that she's having some problems with the microphone. So okay, so let's close the session today. We will continue, of course, tomorrow. We are, like I say, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, I don't know who it was, but you can email me. The emails on the screen, or you can reach out later. There's other way you can, or through my LinkedIn.
Great. Yeah, sure.
All right.
Okay, all
Take
right.
care.
Thank you for
Thank you
being
for the
here.
opportunity. It's nice
Yeah,
talking to
sure.
you guys.
Yeah, let's keep in touch.
Yes. Bye.
Bueno, bye bye. So, ahora ya cambio a español. Muchas gracias a todos por participar el día de hoy en el Autotech Week. Tuvimos estas dos presentaciones muy interesantes de temas relacionados con conectividad, vehículos conectados. Mañana y el viernes tenemos otros 8 speakers que son súper interesantes. De hecho, mañana es el día de electrificación y es un tema, digamos, que es de los más interesantes y más cercanos o más digamos, aterrizados para el futuro inmediato en la región y en Colombia. Vamos a tener 4 empresas, unas soluciones de scooters, de motos pequeñas conectadas también. Either by Motorcycles, StoreDot y Electron son soluciones de baterías eléctricas y también de carga eléctrica. Y Wallbox son una empresa española que trabaja con cargadores eléctricos para vehículos eléctricos. Entonces, pues ellos tienen unas historias muy interesantes que contar. La idea aquí también es que les cuenten por qué están apostando por la electrificación y cómo ven el futuro de la industria automotriz en los próximos 10 años. Y claramente, pues si están apostando por este tema es porque lo ven que va a ser realmente la realidad y el gran mayor parte del mercado va a irse hacia esas tendencias. Y el viernes también tenemos otras 4 empresas muy interesantes. Mindtronic es una empresa de Taiwán que trabaja con temas de inteligencia artificial para vehículos, ya los escucharemos. Trading Motion, solución industrial para optimización de producción para vehículos. Seat Code, este también es muy, muy interesante porque es un OEM que SEAT es una empresa OEM del grupo Volkswagen que está en este momento en su transformación digital y quiere pasar de ser fabricante de vehículos y de hardware a ser fabricante directamente de soluciones o prestador de soluciones de movilidad. Entonces, SEAT Code es clave y vamos a tener al presidente, el CEO de SEAT Code hablando mañana. Y Ampop, que es una empresa norteamericana que también tiene soluciones de carga eléctrica compartida. Entonces, estos son servicios inteligentes de movilidad. Hay muchos más, pero bueno, hemos reunido unos muy interesantes para el día viernes. Bueno, también decirles que por favor se inscriban en el campus de Promotion. Ustedes seguramente ya tienen el link en sus correos o en nuestras redes, pueden revisarlo. También tenemos una convocatoria de Colombia Productiva que, bueno, termina el viernes, es el de Alianzas para el Desarrollo y por favor, bueno, revísenlo y inscríbanse. Y también tenemos una rueda automotriz. Las empresas automotrices que quieran exportar y hablar con clientes internacionales, pues también tienen ahí la oportunidad de la rueda automotriz que se va a realizar a final de octubre. Entonces, en las redes de ProColombia, en las redes nuestras, pueden conseguir los links, hacer su inscripción y participar de estas ruedas con posibles compradores internacionales de Estados Unidos, de Brasil, de Canadá. Hay muchos compradores en este momento ya registrados que pueden ser posibles compradores y pueden pues, ser clientes de ustedes. Bueno, sin más, muchas gracias a todos, obviamente a los speakers, a todos ustedes por participar. Muy contento de tener la asistencia que hemos tenido durante estos días del Autotech Week. Mañana se pone incluso más interesante porque son temas de vehículos eléctricos que yo sé que son incluso más cercanos y hay mucho más interés en esta tecnología específicamente. Y el viernes en los servicios de movilidad. Bueno, pues gracias a todos y nos vemos mañana otra vez. Mañana arrancamos a las 8 de la mañana. Entonces recuerden, igual les va a llegar o tienen en su calendario la invitación. Entonces les llega también una invitación unos 15 minutos antes para que se conecten. El link es el mismo. Muchas gracias a todos. Que estén muy bien y por favor también, bueno, si no han rellenado el formulario, rellénenlo. Hasta luego y hasta mañana.